This video will show you how to use the split billing feature in AlphaDrive. Before we get started, we'd like to recommend that you disable automatic time rounding in Clio. If you don't, you might accidentally overcharge clients. We'll cover why later in this video. Sometimes there are situations where multiple clients will want to each pay for a portion of a bill. Using AlphaDrive, we can easily track time and expenses on a parent matter, then use split billing to split them out to any number of child matters. To do this, first create a parent matter in Clio. The parent matter is where you will track all time and expenses that will need to be split. We will include parent in parentheses at the end of our matter description so we know that this is where we will log all of our time and expenses. Next, we will also create a client and matter for each other individual that will be paying a portion of the bill. We will put child in parentheses at the end of the matter name so we know that these are where our bill will be split to. The parent and child tags are only used to easily remember which is which, so you can omit them if you'd like, or use your own. Now we need to do a one-time setup to configure these matters for split billing. To do this, go to Finance on the AlphaDrive ribbon and click Configure under Split Billing. From here, we'll search for the parent matter where we will log our expenses. Just click the box next to the matter and click Next. When it comes to splitting time entries, there are 3 ways to do it, and I want to explain each one. Let's talk about a specific scenario. Let's say you work 8 minutes at $400 per hour. The bill needs to be split equally among 4 people who are each paying 25%. You also have Clio configured to round time to the nearest tenth of a minute. If you use actual time, 8 minutes will be divided by 4 and each client will have a 2-minute time entry created for them at $400 per hour. If you use rounded time, 12 minutes will be divided by 4 and each client will have a 3-minute time entry created for them at $400 per hour. And if you use bill rate, the $400 an hour bill rate will be divided by 4 and each client will have an 8-minute time entry created for them at $100 per hour. Now that we've selected how to split the bills, we need to determine who is paying for the bills. In my example, everyone that is splitting the bill has the same last name, so I'll just type in everyman. You can see that in addition to the child matter that we created earlier, we also have 6 more child matters that we previously created. 2 of these clients are going to pay for 25% of the bill, and the other 5 are going to pay for 10%. We'll just go through and enter the amount that each person wants to pay under the time and expense columns in percentage format. Keep in mind that these numbers do not necessarily have to add up to 100%. For example, if we're giving the clients a 10% discount, the amount should only add up to 90%. Conversely, if we have a situation where we may need to charge extra, simply add the percentages up to more than 100%. If your firm is using Clio for productivity reporting, you may consider these zeroing options that are designed to assist with reporting accuracy. Once our percentages are all entered and we've double-checked that they add up to the correct amount, just click Next and we will finish configuring the split. If we ever need to make adjustments to split billing, for example, if we need to change how the percentages are split, we can simply rerun the Configure tool. Now that we have these matters configured for split billing, we'll create a time entry and an expense entry under the parent matter. We'll create a time entry for 8 minutes at $400 an hour and an expense entry for $100. Once we've added the time and expense entries, we will click on Finance on the AlphaDrive ribbon, then click Execute under Split Billing. On this screen, we will select what activities we want to split. Type in the parent client or matter name to filter the results. If our clients are only splitting certain activities, we can select each one individually. If they are splitting the entire bill, we'll click the Select All button located at the top of the list. Once we've made the selection, we'll click Split. Now, let's take a look at what happened in Clio after we performed our split. When we navigate to a child matter, you can see the new entries that have been created. This client was responsible for 25% of the total bill, so you can see he now has an expense entry for $25 of the original $100 expense. This is exactly what we would expect. When we look at the time entry, you'll notice that it has also been properly created and is showing that this client is responsible for 2 minutes of the 8 minutes that were worked. However, you'll notice that it is still rounding the time up to 6 minutes for the time entry. If we don't disable automatic time rounding, the 8 minutes that we worked will actually be billed to the clients as 42 minutes. To avoid this, we'll turn off time rounding in Clio by going to Settings, then Billing, then we'll uncheck the box for time rounding and click Save Bill Settings. Now that automatic time rounding is disabled, if we go back to our time entries, you'll see that they now have the correct amounts.